Hi, welcome to Doing Outdoors. I'm Benj and I'm up my farm today, and we've finally got my hands on the nitrogen fixing trees that I need to fit or to plant within my permaculture orchard. And the trees that I've got my hands on are alder. They're the only readily available tree that we can get, or at least that I can find in the UK, that are a nitrogen fixing plant. I've been waiting for these plants for about 6 weeks. So finally they've arrived. Second week in March now. So we're just getting into a bad time to be planting new trees, but we'll get them in the ground anyway. They need to be in there, and they've arrived. So this is what I've been waiting for 6 weeks to get my hands on. On the left hand side we've got some old English oak. Now the oak I'm not going to put in the orchard, they're going to be planted out randomly throughout the wood to bring a little bit more diversity to the place, because at the minute I'd say 80% of the trees within the wood are ash. And on the right, these are the alder. These are going to be the nitrogen fixing plant for the permaculture orchard. Let's go get them in the ground. And there we have it, the alder. Luckily they've been planted and grown in cells, so just with a small trowel we'll get those in the ground dead easy, and we're not going to have to disturb the roots whatsoever. There's one of the alder in its final resting place. And I've put 16 out amongst the fruit trees within this orchard. It's hard to see them now, but a couple of years they'll all be up. I've got to get some protection sorted out, because there are creatures that come in here on a night time and have a nibble on the trees. You can see that all the fruit trees have got mesh panels surrounding them. There's a few trees with plastic sleeves on. These alder are going to have to fend for themselves for a couple of nights, because the protection that I want to put on I don't have at the minute. But we've got them all in. I've also had a bat round with the oak trees and I've planted those out within the wood. So with the alder, the oak, sweet chestnut, black walnut, English walnut and the hazel and the fruit trees. I've put in about 150 trees this winter. There's going to be quite a few more going in this permaculture orchard before I'm done. I don't have any pear in here yet. It's nearly all apple, nut, cherry and plum. But I'd like to get some pear in to finish it off. I'm stood next to one of the fruit trees that I first planted. This is a Stella cherry, and you can see that it's starting to put out some leaves. Hopefully it's putting down a good root system at the same time. It's quite encouraging to see. But we'll show you now where one of these trees have been nibbled on. This is a sweet chestnut. It's been unprotected the whole time, because when I first put the fruit trees in, I didn't protect them for 1 or 2 nights, and the apple trees got nibbled on, and then a couple of the walnut trees got nibbled on, but this sweet chestnut seemed to avoid it. So I used all the protection that I had to cover the walnut and the fruit trees, and this one's been fine up until about 2 nights ago, and this sweet chestnut has also been nibbled. And you can see where something's taken chunks out of the bark and ripped it up the sides. Hopefully it will survive this. I'll get some protection on that. Now I know that it's a target, but you can see, I'll show you some of the fruit trees that got nibbled. Nearly all of them got nibbled. You can see there up on the trunk, bits of the bark have been taken off. Now whether it's a muntjac, which is a small deer, or whether it's the rabbit or hare, there's a lot of hare around here, but whatever it is, we need to protect the trees from it. So that's why we've got these cages wrapped round, and we've got those round all the fruit trees. It's hard to see in this light, but each tree has got its own little cage wrapped round, all custom made for each tree. So I've just finished planting out the English oak within the wood, and I also had a few hazel left over that I hadn't quite planted out yet. I'll take you over to a couple of the spots where I've planted some of these trees. Now I've just planted them randomly throughout the wood, hoping that they'll fill out some of the not so crowded areas, but with all the big trees in place putting out quite a bit of shade, I'm hoping that these plants will grow straight up, giving some really straight poles that hopefully in about 20 years time I'll be able to harvest and use. I'm just in a little clearing within the wood. It's hard to see now because everything's going green, but there's a sweet chestnut here. Now for some reason the plants that I've put out in the wood haven't been nibbled on like they have been in that small field, but where I've got protection I have put it on. We've got another one here, that's a black walnut. There's another sweet chestnut just here. You can see that's not been touched by anything, and the buds are starting to swell and go green. I'll be putting some leaf out soon. That's an English walnut. And what I tried to do was literally walk through the wood. You can see here that the canopy has got a bit of an open spot. So hopefully these trees that I've planted will reach up for that light and fill this spot. So that's one job to be ticked off the list. All the trees that I've purchased are now in the ground. I've got to get a bit of protection around some of them so they don't get eaten by the wild animals. So now I can concentrate on what's growing in the greenhouse for a bit and what's growing in the way of baby pigs and chickens. We're collecting eggs now to make the first run in the incubator. I've timed it so they'll be hatching either on or just before Easter, hopefully on Easter Day. But we're losing light now. I'm going to have to pull my finger out, get the pigs fed, get the chickens sorted, and then get myself home. So thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.